Hello, my name is Katie. This will be my first video and it'll be terribly awkward because I am extremely camera shy and do not want to clean my background. So, just to start, I'm new to booktube. It's really weird for me to be talking to a camera because it's creepy. But this is my book list so far for 2021, or the piece of paper anyway. I organized them based on their personalities, so horror, or generally horror, is in Slytherin, adventure books that don't have magic, or they're at least pretending to be real world, are Gryffindor. Ravenclaw is fantasy but with magic. And then all the real life nitty gritty help book or about actual culture I put in Hufflepuff because Hufflepuffs care. And that's how I organize them. And then as I'm figuring out who's winning, I mark them in here. And so far, fantasy's winning, which makes sense since I'm Ravenclaw. And we're going to skip over all the other issues with the Harry Potter drama with Rowling. Anyway, but that's how I organize my books, and it seems to encourage me to reach my goal, which is at least 80 books this year. Also, I will be painting so that I don't have to clean the area behind me because I'm lazy. Anyway, so what I'll be painting while I talk about whatever book is, well, during this video and while trying to figure out how to use a camera, I've been making bookmarks, catching up in my watercolor to-do goal list, bookmark for January or Canuary, hiking up on the mountains, being all healthy and in shape. February, Black History Month, a quote from my favorite author, well, poet. And then March is Magical March, a quote from one of my favorite characters, of course, from Harry Potter. And then April was financial literacy, so I've got money studying. Then Mermay and Pride Month. For Pride Month, I've decided to have a book with hearts and just really good gay literature. It'll be very happy for me. And I think I'll make the mermaid eat somebody. It'll be great. Meanwhile, the book that I want to talk about, or the reason why I chose this book in particular, is because I only saw one review on it on booktube, and that's really sad for me because I loved this book. I'll put a picture up in like this section so that I know, well, so that you can see which one it is. It's called The Dragon and the George. The Dragon and George is book 1 of the Dragon Knight series. It's written by George R. Dickinson, and the cover is illustrated by Boris Vejo. And it's just wonderful. So it's based on the story about George and the Dragon. George and the Dragon is a tale about a Christian or Catholic knight fighting dragons and killing the last dragon. This story is not that. This story is about a man and a woman who are scientists studying, and the fiance, or, well, I don't remember if she's the fiance yet or just the girlfriend, but she works for a mad scientist. And I say mad in that the main character, Jim Eckert, is very concerned for her. He really wants her to quit her job because it's just not safe. And he's worried that something is going to happen because this guy just skips over all the protection things. And I need to learn how to multitask while I talk. Anyway. My neighbors are loud. He's worried about her safety. And it's a genuine worry because what happens next is he goes to visit her or bring her lunch and finds her on the lab table that she said, "It's okay, honey, I promise I'm not being experimented in any of his lab results anymore. It'll be safe, it'll be fine." Yeah, that didn't happen. So she's on the lab table. Few things happen and she's gone. And that was not supposed to happen because the guy that is the mad scientist is not knowing how it happened or why it happened, and they were just, testing it. There should have been only a few blinky lights and they would be happy. But instead they sent her to somewhere else. They thought maybe it would just send her consciousness into the other part of the room or let her astral project, and no, it sent her away. Lots of yelling and screaming later and a couple of threats. Our main character, Jim, is on the table and gets the same thing done to him. But instead of his whole self going, the mad scientist is only able to send his conscious self, and he thinks he'll just be a phantom and appear towards her or near her or be somewhere where he can contact her or they're hoping. And instead, when he opens his eyes again, he's a dragon. And he's a dragon inside a cave, and he doesn't know how to use his body very well, but it's weird. And so he's trying to figure out the science of how all this happened, but that doesn't seem to work out for him very well. It occasionally helps, but not very well. Don't scratch the watercolor paper, don't. The scrapey sound is bad. So he meets the dragon's family. He's trying to play around or play along just a little bit so that he can figure out where his love is. His love, by the way, is Angie. He decides he needs to leave the cave. You don't leave the cave. You gotta be careful for the Georges. And he leaves the cave anyway. He explains that he needs to find the George. No, I'm skipping a bit. They found a George. They're deciding who's going to eat her. He finds a way to save her just a little bit. They go try to find a wizard to figure out their way out. He leaves her in where he thinks will be a safe place while he's going to go get help. And while he's talking to the magical wizard that should know the way to send them home, because of course it'll be a wizard, she gets kidnapped by another set of dragons. And they want to kind of use the power that got Eckhard there to just take over the realm. I think that's what their main goal was. Their goal basically is to be evil. And that's kind of a good goal. It works. It's enough for them to steal the Lady Fair and then send our hero on a mission. And the mission is to go rescue her to gather friends as he's rescuing her, because he needs to build companions to fight the evil, otherwise he will lose. So our wizard, our mage, sends him off. He starts on his mission. He's supposed to gather at least 3 people. He doesn't, or there's no telling who they are, but dude, be friendly. So, I would fail. So, as he's going along, the first character that we meet is Sir Brian Neville Smith, and he is just wonderful. I'm gonna let this dry, but or I guess I should tell you, what I'm using is art masking fluid, and basically it'll keep that section white while I paint the rest to multiple colors, and then I can peel it off and do whatever it is I want. So, Sir Brian Neville Smith. He's a very noble knight. He's on his quests. He fights dragons. He kills dragons. So meeting a dragon that talks to him was a bit of a shock. And then having the dragon claim to not be a dragon really was another shock. But he accepts it pretty quickly. The exchange between the two is very cute. And their friendship along the way is adorable, especially when they're not competing, but they're trying to figure out who is the more noble person, who's higher ranking. And there's an exchange of, what do you mean you don't have a social security number? Everyone has them in where I come from. And I wish I had the text with me. That would be great. I shouldn't say, I'll put in the text beforehand. Anyway, so they're going along, and Sir Brian's talking about his love, and Jim, or Sir Jim, as he's calling himself, is talking about his Angie, or the Lady Angie, and how they need to go on a quest to go rescue Angie. But first, Sir Brian needs to talk to his lady fair to get permission, because if he's going to go on a possibly, in a mission where he could die, he should probably talk to her first. So they're on their way to go talk to his lady, and on the way there they have a moment where they meet the dragon that Jim's inside of, his best friend. And Gorbash's best friend is Arag. And I love Arag. I think he's my top favorite character. Mostly because he just does not give a fuck. Just throughout the thing, there's these creatures that will attack you, that they'll just make you feel so depressed and feel unwanted in whatever your situation is, that your brain melts and they can eat you. Well, I think they eat your brain, just the brains, after you've dissolved into horrible depression and feel so worthless that you want to die. So, they're called sand smirks. And they're these scrawny little gremlin-like creatures that lurk in the shadows and make this horrible noise that eats into your brain, and you have to focus on something to keep them at bay. Or do what Arag does and just kill them. He's an English wolf and he doesn't have time for their issues. And he doesn't eat them because they're bad for you. But he does rip them to shreds and murders every single one that he can get a hold of. great game for him. So as they're going along, the three of them are all together. They're on their way to the Lady Fair for Sir Brian, and they meet this archer, Danielle. And there's some issues, like some sexism. The archer is wonderful. She hit a warning shot that was definitely just a warning shot. And Sir Brian's like, yes, you can join our party. I guess, yes, she can join our party. She pets me. And Jim is doing that. I don't know. She's a woman. I'm not sure. You know, I don't think it's safe. And Danielle basically goes, that's bullshit. I am a fighter. And she joins their group. And they decide they'll need her help anyway. She knows the area. So does Sir Brian. And they meet his lady, and I forget her name or like how to pronounce her name. And they find out that she was taken. And not just taken, but she was taken by by Sir Brian's arch rival, another knight, who doesn't get the meaning of no. He's been trying to court this lady for a while. The answer's been no for a while, or for quite a bit. And instead of taking a no, it was, you can marry me or I can take your kingdom. And so he took the kingdom. She's up in the tower, or I think it's her tower, or like her bedroom, and they make a plan to rescue her. A couple other things happen. And they are successful. They also meet this other archer, or a Welshman. Forget his name. Defid? Anyway, he wants to learn. He says he is the best archer in all the lands, and to prove that, he must compete with Danielle's father, who is currently the best archer in all the lands. And let's go like the. I decided that I was getting bored waiting for that to dry. I'm gonna just work on the spot above. Let's see. So he wants to compete with Danielle's father to become the best archer. They kind of figured it's not gonna happen. Like, he's not going to actually become the best archer. It'll just be like a nice dream for him to keep and hold and then fail at. Anyway, so he joins in the rescuing of Sir Brian's lady. And stays with the group, not because he's noble, but like he decides he really likes Danielle. And really wants to gain good favors with her. Because she's beautiful, she's lovely, she's sassy, she's strong-willed. Like, she is just a beautiful character. Except she's also, she thinks very highly of herself and thinks that Jim is a rich baron who is actually a prince in disguise and is, you know that whole, if you kiss a toad, they'll become a prince and you'll marry them? She's along that line of theory. Like, she's wrong, but she doesn't know it. And she's very certain that she's right. And Jim just doesn't know what to do with her. And like, he occasionally forgets that his whole mission right now is to save his lady, not flirt with this cute girl. And there's a lot of back and forth between Jim and Defud. the Welsh. And but she reminds me of not sure who she reminds me of, but she reminds me of someone, and I think it's someone in my inner circles. I think she reminds me of a sister. Anyway, so they go along, they rescue the lady. Lady goes, yes, you can go on this mission to rescue Jim's lady and break the horrible curse that's on him. And as they're going along, the wizard pops back up, says, they have your lady here. So they all go together. The Rexperts come back. The group breaks up. They try to figure out how to regroup. The wizard regroups them. And there is so much that happened during this scene. But while I was trying to listen to it, by the way, on audiobook, so everything's the... Anyway, the audiobook's wonderful. But not having a tangible version is very frustrating. So much happens during this scene. So the evil forces decide that they are going to absorb everything or make everything disappear like the nothing in Never-Ending Story. And as things progress, the characters have to face against something, or each one has to face against what would be considered either their worst fear or what would lure them into danger. There's illusions all over the place. And Jim's specific lure is his Angie. In the distance, up in the tower, calling him, begging him to leave the group because they don't actually want to help him. And if he just gives up right now and gives in, she'll be free. And she's in this beautiful white, sheer, basically see-through gown in the distance. She's doing that, I want to say 70s beauty, beautiful white blonde female in the distance. I think she's blonde. I don't know. Beautiful female in the distance, in the shadows with a moonlight on her, glowing, and asking for the male to save her. And he almost falls for it, like, badly. Takes the whole group to stop this dragon man from going into a spot where he will definitely die. And it continues on like that. I don't want to give you the end. The way that the story comes together towards the end is beautifully done. It's like you could read it on its own, but it does lend itself towards it being a series, which I'm glad that I went, it feels like it could be a series, because it was. There are so many books in this series, and I want both the audio and the tangible version that I can just keep on my shelves, because I have a hoard of used books, because I hardly ever buy them new, because I'm cheaper than that. So $30 on a coffee or a whole bunch of coffee is pushing it. $30 on a pack of used books that might smell a little funky. Those are wonderful. But basically, I rated this book 5 stars and then did not say anything about it on Goodreads. And then when I tried to find reviews on it on YouTube, I only found one and it made me sad. And then I watched the review and I'm like, this person did not. This book was hilarious and they did not get it. Like, ugh. It was annoying. So, but I don't know. We'll go with horribly awkward video while partially painting something. Because that feels like an improvement. And let me know if you've read the book. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how weird it is to watch a liquid polymer dry. Well, it's a liquid rubber. It's art masking fluid. It's really weird watching art masking fluid dry. But it is a whole lot easier than, actually cleaning. Let me know what you think.